Get your laughing gear around this melt in the mouth lamb roast. And I'm only going to use 3 ingredients. This is a choose your own adventure. I'm going to make birria with the lamb roast, otherwise just use it as normal. And when you can pick up a lamb for $9.50 a kilo, fucking grab it. Now just ensure it's a shoulder as it's a secondary cut, unlike the lamb leg. This thing can be cooked out way further and give that melt in the mouth texture. One of the big reasons for that, it has a lot of collagen in a lamb shoulder. Over the duration of the cook, that will melt down into gelatin and that will give you the beautiful melt in the mouth texture that you're chasing. Now lamb takes coffee beautifully well, so I'm using a coffee based rub, the nice earthiness to it, it really complements the lamb. Now like I said, because we're doing a choose your own adventure, you can do it in the barbie, the oven, or even the smoker. Battle plug is on. Righto, let's fire up the barbie. Take this opportunity, if you've got some bloody head noise, fire up the barbie, let everything tune out and just concentrate on the cook for that period of time. Remove your vegan tears. Get your hot plate with a large cast iron pan, searing hot. When selecting your lamb shoulder, you want to find something with nice soft fat cap on the top, because a big problem with these is really thick fat cap and it's just a waste. If you do have a thick fat cap, trim that off, put that into a pot or something or render down, and that can become lamb tallow. If you got any dodgy, scratchy bits, just remove them. Now just a thin crosshatch across the top, that'll open up that fat cap that you've got. Flip her over, season underneath first because the top's going to be a presentation side. If you don't have a coffee base rub, molten salt, cracked pepper, coffee and whatever other spices you got will work well. If you've got plenty of meat juice from the bag, don't worry about a binder, otherwise a Vegemite slurry or sriracha will work just fine to hold the rub on a little bit better. Season from nice and high so you get a nice even coverage. For God's sakes, pat, don't rub, save that for the bloody bedroom. And if you're going to eat all sides, season all sides. Righto, let's go sear and seal it off. Right, sear all sides. Once you get some nice colour, flip them over. Just make sure you sear and seal all sides. Now if you're on the outside barbie, feel free to throw some cherry wood on for a little hint of smoke. Hard to tell here, but there's a nice blue smoke coming from that cherry wood. Now that it's seared, cook indirect on the barbecue to at about 160 Celsius in the oven too. That'll allow the fat to render out, then we'll turn it down from there. When it's got some bark and some really nice colour, we'll turn the temperature down to about 130 Celsius and cook it until it pulls apart. Alright, it's now been about 4 hours. As you can see, the fat's rendered out nicely. You can see a lot of the drippings in the bottom of the pan. Let's add the birria broth. 500 mils of water, or you can even use beef broth and the paste. A splash of red wine in here and flush the rest out. Now beat the living crap out of it. Pour the consomme over the top, then we're going to throw it back into the barbie or the oven at 130 Celsius until you can stick a skewer through it and it probes like butter. Bunno's alfoil, thick as hell. See you in a couple of hours. It's now rested for an hour inside of my barbecue with the heat off. Right from here, we're going to skin the fat. So we just want to remove the lamb first, and we're going to skim all the fat off into a separate container, and that's what we're going to dip our tortillas in. Fun fact, most people just dip it straight in, and they get a lot of the consomme on, and that's what burns the tortillas. Right, now that we've skimmed all the fat, lamb back into the consomme. Let's see how loose this is, shall we? Bone comes out like a fucking cheap hooker. Juicy as Lucy. Add some beef tallow from a previous brisket. Dip in the oil that you skimmed off previously. Lamb in. Get a metric shitload in. If you can get a hold of it, some Oaxaca cheese, some mozzarella, or some buffalo with a little bit extra salt will do quite well. Little hint of lime on the top. Some Melton sea salt. Righto, let drip in.
Yeah, and I was like...
Still bloody good for the gasser. Bang it in.